Hello, welcome everybody. Much love and blessings to each and every one of you. A bit of an unprecedented video for you tonight. I didn't think I'd be able to go out to see Grandmother Moon because this predictions of the weather was storm clouds and rain. But Spirit called me out and I, in good faith, stepped out into the waters. So had my feet in the ocean, playing my rattles that were called, and the clouds gave way, the rain subsided, and Grandmother revealed herself at 1:11 in the morning. I know, right? And it kind of makes sense because tonight's full moon is the Hunter moon. It is the brightest moon in 2024, and it also speaks of new parts of the journey that are to commence, or in traditional form, the preparation of collecting all that needs to be harvested in order to move forward into the next phase. The two rattles Spirit had called for me, and that I used as I stood in the ocean to sing and to bring in the guides and the energies, was the empowerment rattle. Now, this empowerment rattle has not been utilized in the last couple of years. I have been utilizing that of my shamanic drum, which has been instrumental for healing the divine masculine and the divine feminine within us. But now this hummingbird is coming in, and that is exciting stuff. The hummingbird is the higher consciousness of humanity, the human form in its highest state. It also speaks of the higher realm in the shamanic field. This is where the guides, the loved ones, the heavenly loved ones that look after us, as well as that of the celestial beings that guide us by sharing their wisdom and their light in order to illuminate the woundings within humanity, because they are in a much higher world. This rattle was also utilized with my Shipibo from Peru. This rattle is the ancestral rattle, and in the shamanic form, the ancestral rattle is every man, woman, and child that lived and breathed upon this earth long before you and I, the collective consciousness of humanity coming into play to share the knowledge and the wisdom, the strengths and their weaknesses. However, in this particular case tonight, I believe it is linked to our bloodline. For the last 2 years, we've been healing generational karma. And as a result of healing generational karma, we ensure that the next of our bloodline live a life that is more of ease. And as a result of that, we help heal ourselves, but we also bring peace to the ancestors who have now departed this earthly realm. Because as they leave this earthly realm and rise into the higher consciousness, they see all the mistakes that they have done. And so at that time when this was coming in, about 2 years ago, they had actually handed me a flower as an apology for everything that they had done, for they did not know better. But now that they do, they ask us to make the changes that are required so that we no longer bleed our wounds onto the next generation and the next generation and the next generation to follow. With that being said, this information is conjunct with what I am about to share with you in the vision. In this vision, Grandmother Moon shared with me a vision of a warrior, eyes closed, solemn in her strength and element, but her third eye is completely open. She is deep in prayer. She is deep in thought. Her inner world speaking loudly in volume. She is also strategizing the best way to move forward. She has her shoulders back. She is an empowered woman. Pride, but in a good way. And this is not a representative of gender. It is talking about the feminine within each man, woman, and child. It is the nurturing part, the strength of a mother, that kind of strength. Around her shoulders, she has a blanket that keeps her safe and warm. It is the skin of a bear. And as she slowly opens her eyes, as I do, her eyes adjust to the world in front of her, the world that she is slowly to embark upon. And what she observes is the mist has met with the earth, air and land combined. And as the air and the land combined slowly dissipate, the sun casting its rays of strength and energy downwards, she sees with greater clarity that which lies before her. There is much vastness of rich land, fertile in front of her, many trees and the surrounding. The rolling hills slowly subside and give way to the ocean far on the other end. Those that have walked with me know that Spirit talks to me in symbols and stories. For symbols and stories are the first language of man, long before the modern language that we speak of. Symbols that were depicted on caves or told in story and dance. This warrior is you and I. It is us in our human form, the light workers, the healers, the teachers, unconscious ones, and the conscious ones. This 3 months is impacting the soul collective. So if there are people out there who you think will resonate with this message, I urge you to share it with them. Perhaps it'll give them the tools they need in order to proceed moving forward in strength. This warrior is tapping in. The answers that they seek are here. It is not external. So do not seek out validation of who you are and your strengths from other people. You can seek guidance on the way forward, but do not seek validation on who you are. When you push the rest of the world out, in your heart of hearts and your soul of souls, you already know who you are and who you must become. This message is a test, an initiation for all that we have learned and all that we have mastered already resides in here. And up till now, we have not had the opportunity to be tested by Great Spirit to see how well we have learned it. We know we have grown, we know we have excelled vibrationally as well as physically. But now is the time to complete the lesson, so to speak. You can postpone this lesson, Spirit is telling me. But if you do not do it now, you either will be faced to complete it in 3 months down the line, 6 months down the line, or a year from now. But you will be faced with this same challenge down the path. You will be called to be the warrior and to show your strength within. The tribal markings upon your face speak the fact that even though there is no other warriors there, ally or foe, mean that it is a test that is spiritual in nature, you against you, your strength against your strength, your fears against your fears. Are you going to rise above your fears? Can you conquer it? Overcome the negative self-talk or the negative programming that was passed on from generation to generation to generation? Things that were said to you that are untrue. For you know your truth. And your truth goes louder and louder within you each and every day. And it is now merely standing up in that truth in the physical form now, not the spiritual form, the physical form, and showing the world exactly who you are. This is the warrior paint. The ancestral tattoos is your ancestors all standing behind you, supporting you in changing this legacy, in changing the dynamic and the blueprints of this land that we call home. This warrior knows she needs to release and relinquish the blanket that is around her. Because when you go into battle, you cannot have a blanket with you. This blanket is representative of our angels. Each one of us has an angel that we incarnated onto this earthly realm and when we were a baby. And this angel resides with us until our very last breath. loyal to the very end. We have many guides of many forms that come in and out into our world, depending on what challenges and lessons we must face. But this angel stays at all times. And as the world has been changing over the last 2-3 years, it has held its wings and wrapped it around each and every one of us. Because there was such great forces externally, without its wings wrapped around us, it would have destabilized the lessons that we must overcome on our own. To give an example of how change impacts others. If a mother who is ill goes to the doctor and is told that she's got high blood pressure or diabetes, or the brink of diabetes, she must change her habits now as well as her diet to ensure that she has the livelihood that she would like. These meals now need to be more nourishing. And as a result of her changing her own habits and the way she nourishes her body, the way she respects her body, her mind, her spirit, she unconsciously heals her children, because her children are in a much better place. So by the time they get to her age, they probably will not have the ailments she has if they continue that change in diet. Her husband, her partner, also would benefit from this change of diet, from this change of habit. So too, in these last 2 years, all these changes were happening around the world. Many people were awakening, healing their traumas, big traumas, small traumas, generational traumas, their negative self-talk, being more aware and more conscious of everything happening in this planet, learning about natural healing remedies, learning about medicines, getting back into the spiritual roots and spiritual practices, no longer leading because this is what has been told and this was being passed down the generational bloodline. Now questioning things that do not make sense and aligning to what does. Aligning to what resides in your heart of hearts and your soul of souls that you know is right. And you know it's right because you have peace within. And so this is why the angels wrapped their wings around us, so that we could focus on ourselves. But this blanket, as Spirit has said, is going to be released. She knows it's going to be released. So you already unconsciously know this is going to happen. Right now, you unconsciously knew it would arrive. The angels are going to lighten and open their wings, allowing us to step forward in our newfound strength and newfound power, all the wisdom that we have learned up till now and that we have mastered. If its wings were wrapped around us, we would stay in the comfort zone. But as anyone that knows the comfort zone, no movement is a movement backwards. The only movement forwards is taking a step, regardless of how slow and how small those steps are. And so too, as you stand on this hill as the warrior, sorry, I just kicked the table, you, with your eyes closed, need to envision yourself standing on the beach. That person who is you 3 months from now is going to be an even better person than you currently are today. That person is going to be a stronger person. How do I know this? Because the waters are deep, the ocean is deep. It speaks of your intuition, it speaks of your emotion, it speaks of the consciousness within you. And there is peace because the water is tranquil. You and the water are one. But until that stage, you have all this land that you must conquer. All this land where you need to overcome your own fears. You cannot go into battle with fear in your heart. You must believe in who you are. Your ancestors are there behind you. There may be allies to the left of you, to the right of you, who will watch your back. But ultimately, you have to rely on yourself in order to overcome this battle. You need to break down the barriers that people had subjected you to. That was their guideline. But that guideline does not exist. If you believe you can do better, then you should do better. That is how you bring justice to yourself. And there will be challenges along the way. For there is much expansion, yes. There is much growth, fertility in this land where you can grow in many avenues. The trees are your resources. They give you the wisdom that you need depending on what it is. The roots are the medicine that will nourish you. The leaves show you how to grow. The leaves are an example of the way you nurture yourself, you are able to nurture another. And the more leaves grow upon the tree. A tree that is starved of leaves means that you are not sharing the love, the generosity, the kindness to another human being. That tree will dwindle and shrivel and die. We do not live for ourselves alone. Humanity means looking after each other. These rolling hills are easily overcome. They represent challenges in our life in the next 3 months. But they are not mountains. For if it was a mountain that Spirit had shown us, it would have been an arduous journey, much harder to overcome. But they are not. They are hills. They are hills and mounds because we already have the lessons within to look internal. And soon we will be on the other side of the beach. And this is the story that I share with you. Now, if you wish to know in greater detail how it impacts you as an individual and what the next 3 months is going to require of you, and the tools, the maps that you need in order to come out even stronger. For some of us need a little bit more clarity. I'm one of those people. I need to fully grasp and understand what it is that is required of me in order to succeed. And perhaps this is why Spirit has granted me the gifts of sight, of clear knowing, of clear hearing. All these gifts intertwined. It is much like your physical senses. There is a game that we used to play when we were in outdoor education at school, where you would be tied with another person, and one person had a blindfold. And that person could hear, but couldn't see. And the other person could see, but were unable to move. Like they were not the first person to move their legs. The blind person was the one who had access of mobility first and foremost. And the second person who had sight could only follow in their footsteps. It makes the ability to go to where you need to go much slower. But when you have all of your senses ready available to you, you can go on the journey much faster. Now, this is your physical senses. Combine that with your spiritual senses, and you have got many, many resources to be able to see what needs to be seen. And these resources are available to each and every one of us. We all have the gift, but it's a lesson that needs to be learned. One needs to master it. So, I can work with you on that one. If you cannot utilize all of your gifts, allow me to walk with you, to guide with you, to do a soul alignment reading with you. And I will share what needs to be shared in terms of the symbols and the maps to help you along the way. These sessions, as advised, is going to be open from the 1st of November. And many people, I think it's a result of this moon, have been messaging me over the last 2 to 3 days, saying that they need the next step. They need the next step. They're being called to take the next step. And so I've put them on a waiting list. So if you are one of these people that feel the calling to work with me, reach out. and I will put you on the waiting list. And as soon as the prices and the services, the new services are finalized, I'll shoot you out an email, and you guys can choose the service that is in alignment with where you currently are in your soul journey. And I'm happy to help you there. If, however, you are called to work with another practitioner at this particular phase, I urge you to honor that part of yourself. Listen to your heart and your soul, for they are the compass of where you must go. Perhaps this is the lesson that you need at this time, and so you must go forward. Go to that practitioner that you feel is going to best help you on the journey, your hero's journey, the journey of light. And if or ever you decide that you need to come along and back to me to seek my guidance much later on, my door is always open. I am more than happy to help you on your way. So from me to you, I leave you with that. I urge you to go into your own meditation and your own reflection with the energies of the full moon that is here for the next 3 days. Seek the guidance that you seek. Write it down so that you can also strategize on where you need to go. And so that is Ziva saying it's time for me to look after myself and honor myself and possibly have dinner. I think it's about 3 o'clock in the morning now. But yes, I will head off, and I will talk to each and every one of you shortly. My love, my light, I honor you all as always. Many blessings. If you wish to receive more information about soul alignment or soul wisdom, please hit subscribe. And I thank you for your likes and for your interest and for your energy. I look forward to working with you again in the future.